How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. I also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about CTRM, Castor Maritime, which showed a strong earnings report today. We're going to be getting into that, but of course we got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below in the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering to take a position, I highly suggest you watch the entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over, we're going to be going on the press release section of CTRM's website, and we're going to be going over their earnings report together. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and so forth, and also we're going to hear a little bit of something from the CEO himself as far as how he's feeling about it. And then when that is done, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the price action, looking at those areas of support and resistance and what things can really look like for CTRM. And then we're going to be going over the short interest information. We want to know what is the overall market sentiment for CTRM, because I feel this is key because it will have an impact on the overall price action. And then when all of that is done, I'll be doing the final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're now on the official Castor Maritime website, and we're going to be taking a look at the recent earnings report that came out today. So let's get into it. So Castor Maritime reports 1.1 million net profit for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021. Highlights of the first quarter ended March 31st, 2021. Revenues, net 7 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021, as compared to 2.7 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020, or a 159% period to period increase. Very impressive. So net income / loss. Net income of 1.1 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021, as compared to a net loss of 0.3 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020, or 467% period to period increase. Again, very impressive. And this is something that we really wanted to see from CTRM. We know they've been definitely hustling, expanding the fleet, and it's definitely showing to look really good. Let's get on to the next thing. Earnings / loss per common share. 0.02, so 2 cents earning per share for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021, as compared to a loss per share of 0.68 or 68 cents for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020, or 103% period to period increase. Again, good numbers. EBITDA, 2.6 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021, as compared to 0.9 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020, or a 189% period to period increase. Impressive again. You guys are probably getting tired of me saying that. The next point, cash and restricted cash of 64.2 million as of March 31st, 2021, as compared to 9.4 million as of December 31st, 2020, or a 583% period to period increase. Since the beginning of this year, Castor announced the acquisition of 20 vessels across the dry bulk and tanker segments, consisting of 1 Capesize, 7 Max, and 4 Panamax dry bulk carriers, as well as 1 Aframax, 5 Aframax LR2, and 2 MR1 tankers. As of June 2nd, 2021, we have taken successful delivery of 14 vessels and expect 6 remaining acquisitions to conclude by the 4th quarter of this year, subject to customary closing conditions. On a fully delivered basis, Castor will own a diversified fleet of 26 vessels with an aggregate capacity of 2.2 million DWT, having more than quadrupled its fleet size since December the 31st, 2020, and effected a 1-for-10 reverse stock split of the company's common shares on May 28th, 2021. So definitely some solid numbers there. They pretty much just blew it right out of the ballpark. Let's see what the CEO has to say about this. So we have Mr. Pedro Padolitos, Chief Executive Officer. The first 5 months of 2021 was a transformational period for our company, as we were able to raise $252.5 million of equity and $33.3 million of debt and grow our fleet from 6 vessels at the end of 2020 to 26 vessels on a fully delivered basis once we complete all of our announced acquisitions. On a fully delivered basis, our fleet will consist of 18 dry bulk carriers and 8 tankers, allowing us to benefit from the ongoing strong demand for dry bulk transportation services, as evidenced by the recent charter fixtures of a number of our dry cargo vessels, as well as from a potential future recovery in the tanker market. So one of the things that we want to take a look at here, hey, they ended up blowing it out of the park when it came to their overall earnings, and it's why we saw the momentum in the overall stock. Another thing to also keep in mind, yes, the economy is recovering and looking to go back to normal. So Castor can benefit from this even further. So what we have to look forward to is seeing more earnings report come out and seeing consistent growth, consistent profits, and I can definitely see this being reflected very well on the stock price for Castor Maritime. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for CTRM, which had a fairly strong day inside the market. So ended up closing at $3.53, being up 13.14% on the day. On the low, it tested $3.25, and then on the high, testing $4.10. So just in case you're curious, the chart that we're taking a look at is actually the 1 day, 1 year chart. We want to see what the overall trend has been looking like. As we know, if we've been covering on this channel, Castor has definitely been on a downtrend. The pattern has been looking bearish. We also do know that they did a split as well, and that definitely had an impact on as far as the selling pressure that continued. But one thing we need to take notice of the fact is that it shows some strong momentum, and what are some areas we want to look out for. So we saw that it had the opportunity to literally get to $4.10. The 200 day is right at $4.13. So I do believe if we can get past $4.13 where we have that 200 day, we could definitely build up some momentum and start testing around this 429 level before we hit some resistance. So that's just something to keep in mind. As far as for this 350 area, it's definitely an area where we've shown to have some support inside the past. So I'd like to see this actually continue. If it can continue, then things can start looking fairly bullish for CTRM. If it does decide to pull back, then definitely some areas that I'll be looking out for would be around $3 and as well as around $3.20 to be exact. But again, as far as for myself, like I told you guys previously, I do not plan to add any more to my position. But anyone who's looking to do some swings and so forth, see how well this 350 area actually holds up, and then look out for those moves when it starts to try to test the 200 day around 413. It came to 410, and like I said, it was met with selling pressure. So if it can surpass this selling pressure with a lot of buying volume and again more demand for their shares, things can get very interesting. So we're now on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the short interest information for CTRM. So we can see the short volume ratio is at 26%, and this is taken into consideration close as of yesterday. What does this look like? What this looks like, that means out of 9.8 million shares that were traded, 2.5 million of those shares were actually sold short. As we scroll down on the page, short shares availability is at 450,000, updated 6 minutes ago, and the short borrow free rate is at 1.58%. If we scroll down and take a look at the short volume ratio, the history, we can see here on the 1st of June it was at 29, and then the 26th. Hey, it ended up going a lot lower by about 3. So we do need to keep an eye on this. We did see CTRM showed some strength in today, knowing that it had some strong earnings. So I will be keeping you guys updated for the following day, which will be Friday, to see what it looks like for the end of the day for today, due to the fact that it did have a strong run up. So for my final thoughts for CTRM, it was definitely seeing the strong results we saw on that earnings report. They completely blew it out of the water, and it's part of the reasons why we saw a lot of momentum in the stock for today. Another thing we also do need to understand is the fact this CEO has definitely been putting in a lot of work. As we know, his focus is on expanding the fleet, and we've seen by him doing this, it's definitely been reflected on the balance sheet. Now what we want to see is some consistency. We want to see for the next earnings report, we want to see CTRM crush it. We want to see them continually improving all those areas in regards to their EBITDA, their revenue, and so forth, everything that we went over. If they can continue to do this, this will be reflected in the stock price. And again, it's going to continue to be on an uptrend. But again, this comes down to consistency. We also need to take into consideration of the fact the industry that they're in as far as dry bulk shipping and getting into tankers and so forth. This is an area that is still looking towards a recovery. As things get back down to normal and demand starts to ramp back up again, CTRM can really benefit from this. And I'm just hoping if you are a shareholder, you can really see this. But do keep in mind of the fact, since the CEO's focus is on expanding the fleet, there are some potential concerns centered around more dilution. So just taking all of that into consideration, if you're looking at getting a return on investment, something that is sizable, then it all comes down to what your overall position is. And it is going to take a good amount of time. Because like I was saying, this CEO is focused and he knows what he needs to do. And that's expanding the fleet overall in general. Sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I want to make sure you guys know that and you're aware of that, because this play does take a lot of patience. But for the most part, this is definitely great to see, and I can't wait to see what else CTRM actually comes out with. As you know already, we're going to be looking out for even more news as far as expansion and so forth. Hope you guys enjoyed this.